Welcome to technology, man. I'll be the one that confuses you. Uh, so is there gonna be like a main person that's gonna be
For the two of us. Yeah, the two of us.
the two of you?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess first of all, I guess I need to set you up with a user. My name's Kurt, by the way. So
David.
David,
Yes.
Jesse. I guess is there gonna be like a general login you guys want to log into the system?
Yeah, I guess.
Something that you do you have any other building automation systems that you guys use to log in?
We have our state network that we log into and stuff
Okay.
to use our PCs, but
Do you have any like train system, Johnson systems, or anything you guys log into?
no,
Nothing. Okay. Nothing that fancy.
no.
Okay.
No.
All right. Let's see. So I think where to start. So we'll start off with getting you guys logged in. Okay. So when you do log in, we're gonna make it so that this is your home page that you're logging into.
Okay.
Right here. Let me go to the admin. Oh, looks like Jesse. You do have a. Does you
Yeah, you might have done that because I was here for the training before, so you might have
already created you one?
created something.
Okay. Did you ever log? You never logged into it? Okay. Do you remember what your password is?
No idea.
Okay. So when you first log in, it's gonna make you change it.
I guess I can just create one same way.
He can create one for you,
Okay.
or I can create one for you now.
Okay.
So what we can do is I can create one for you. David or Dave?
You can just do David. Yeah.
Lowercase. Well, we'll just do capital D.
Yeah.
What's the initial of your last name?
S.
S. Let's go S. Okay. So the system does have the ability to email you guys if you want alarms. We can set you up with emails.
Yeah, that's fine. You can put my work email on there.
What?
David.Schaefer. SHEA.
EA.
Yep. SH. There's no C.
Oh, SH.
Yeah. EA. FFER. At DNCR. Dot.
Oops.
NC.
DNCR.
Yeah. Dot NC. Dot gov.
Oh, okay. All right. That look right?
Yes.
All right. So your password would be welcome one.
Okay.
Capital W. Exclamation point.
Okay.
And it's going to ask you to change it once you're done.
Right.
Well, we'll need one over here also. And I think Will should do it because I'm going to retire in a year. So it'd be easier if it's just for him, for
Okay.
our system at UAB.
Okay.
Craft service guys will need access to that too. So I don't know if it's
I'm assuming
limited to how many logins
Yeah.
you create. Or,
Oh, you can create as many as you want.
Yeah,
So we can just.
and they can just remotely access that. Without,
Yeah. So there is. Let me see. I gotta get you guys set up on Train Connect.
Log in, choose the Fisher
Yeah.
address,
Yeah.
in general for
staff.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah.
So yeah. So when you set it up, when you log in to set it up, you can set it up their homepage, right? Like I said, I'm just gonna set you up for the main menu. It's gonna
Okay.
pull everything up. Now this one here is for this site here. The other building got to do the same thing. We got to set up users for the is that the underwater archaeology?
Yeah.
So we have to set them up too with a with the username and password also. So we'll make sure, and Will might be set up in that building. I'm not sure. I'll double check that one out. So train has 16 priorities. What that means is when you go to override a point or something like that, if you go to override a device like set point, if there's something being controlled by a program, our programs always run at priority 9. So the priorities are 1 being the highest, 16 being the lowest. Kind of keep that in mind. So when you're trying to override something and suppose it doesn't take, I'll show you how to check that priority level. And we'll get into that too as you're changing set points. So what I do here, so when I set you up for a user, I set you as a priority manual high. That way it's one above the programs. So whenever you're setting up a user, depending on who you're setting up, if you want them to have access or not, you know, like you guys will set you up as an 8,
okay,
so that you have access to change regional preferences time.
So you don't really need to be higher than an 8 then to control everything.
You don't, not really. I mean, you don't want to go really any higher than an 8 because once you start getting into that, you start getting into life safety areas where
Yeah.
you know you don't want to leave it. If something happens, there is a fire. You don't want to. You don't want the air handler to run. You want it to shut off, right? But if it's overridden on, then it won't shut off. So I'll set you up here. Just the units, how you want it. Some people want metric. I'll set you up as standard. I'm assuming.
yeah,
This here is just, you don't have any displays on it. And then I'll give you access to all the graphics. Everything look good?
Yep.
Your email? All righty. Then yours is probably be the same thing as the welcome one, exclamation, capital W.
Yeah.
That should be that's the main one I use anyway. But here, yeah, up here in the right-hand corner, this is where you want to create your users. And then if you do want like a different homepage, you can just drag it over your homepage.
okay,
All right. So the building itself, you know, 2 floors. And then we got what we call fan coiled VAVs. Are you guys familiar with that? I'm not sure what you're.
No,
no,
I mean,
we're not
yeah,
familiar
like
with
our
any of this.
yeah, we have like our HVAC, you know, specialist kind of people that work for our craft services, so they'll be reviewing this.
Oh, okay.
And you know, I guess they're not. I guess they're not on the.
That's why I'm recording.
the Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were invited today. Them on.
So yeah, you got 2 major components of your system here. You got the air handler and you got the chiller out there. The air handler serves all your offices, spaces, upstairs, and it serves what we call VAVs or fan coil boxes. So we'll go to the air handler first. So everything you should be able to navigate on the pages to get wherever you need to go. Tried to make it that way.
Okay,
So you don't have to worry about coming over to a tree or trying to find devices. There's a lot of horsepower here. But we'll try to make it so that you guys can just navigate through the graphics and not have to get too deep into it. If you do, then I'll give you my number so you can either call me or I can walk you through it on any support you guys need. So we'll
and does this all run like from a specific like website, or is for like our program, like if we're accessing it, like I'm just seeing up there, or is it something that's located in the actual room in there itself?
you have what we call an SC that's out there in the room. It's
Okay.
basically just a little server interface,
Okay,
right? So it's not
You
No.
when you were here before, you were saying you could just like hook a laptop up to it.
you could
then,
hook up
or
you could hook
something?
up you could hook up
So-
laptop so if you guys wanted to get a laptop just kept in the room, you could do that.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that before, and then there was that whole thing about with any sort of outgoing. That this like I don't know what the holdup was with the state, but they weren't aware that it was gonna be something
So yeah, they did get
like
hooked
an
up.
external line going out or whatever. I don't.
Yeah,
do
they
you
got the,
remember. I have no idea. What
The-
I'm not sure if they
originally stopped this whole thing from
This was the
happening.
remote access. They
Yeah, the
were-
remote
The
access.
state
issue.
IT department wasn't aware that we were doing remote access
Yeah.
on this project. And they needed to get the system approved before we could get it installed.
and I encourage you, I mean, whenever you get a chance and you get logged in and set up, get around and play with it. You're not really going to mess anything up. You're not going to get into the programming. You're not going to get into things where you can really, you know, mess up the site. You might just make somebody a little warmer or colder than they like to be.
Yeah.
So you really can't screw anything up with this. I mean, it's web-based. It's not software initiate. It's not a software you have to have. So to get into the programming and everything, you have to have our service tool to get into it, to change programming and stuff like that. So you're not going to mess anything up here. So don't be afraid to get in, navigate around, check it out. It's pretty simple. It's pretty user friendly. So this is the air handler. So I kind of broke it up. You kind of got a status right here of what it's running at. Your discharge air temp, discharge air dew point. The way the engineer wanted it, we wanted it controlled off a dew point. So that's what we're doing. There is no dehum or anything on the unit itself. Okay, it's just controlled by basic dew point control for your outside air dampers. If you wanted to change the discharge air set point, you can change it right there. So really nothing you could put 55, enter, and it's going to start controlling 55. And then you'll see this cooling capacity right here start to drop. That's your cooling valve. Questions? Basic operation of an air handler. It's controlling to duct static. Is there anything specific you want to learn about it? I mean,
This is like weird too, because like this is all like gibberish to me, but like our HVAC guy probably understands all of this, so hopefully
okay.
he will either be on the Teams thing or will watch the video and can
Okay.
forward any questions to you or us to send to you
Okay.
or something.
We'll go over set point control then. Let's go to the main menu.
Maybe you know exactly what's up.
So yeah, if you click on, let me go back to the main menu. So these are your floors. You can just click on first or second floor and bring you right to the floor and we're in this room right here. If you click on any of these names, it's just going to take you to that device that's controlling that room.
Okay.
All right. So we'll just click on this room. So right now, this is telling you what this base temperature is and what your set point is. Okay. So we're half a degree off, pretty good. Tells you your airflow, your entering temp coming from the air handler, where the air valve is on that unit for this room, your heating, your discharge air temp, and your fan status tells you what your fan speed is. Now you can change the set point here also.
Okay.
All right. So if somebody's hot or cold.
So essentially, like you can just change the temperature for every area by logging into this too, without necessarily having. I'm assuming there's not necessarily thermostats everywhere.
Yeah, there's thermostats right there. So if I go back to the main menu. So these little green boxes should be where the thermostats are located
Okay.
for you, so you can identify where it's at. Go back to this guy. Any questions on?
Is there supposed to what would you say, what would it's showing the airflow? I would assume what is considered
Out of normal?
yeah
So-
if I notice something, or I'm assuming it would probably possibly send an alert, but just in general, if you can tell if it's creeping up before it gets to that point, is there a base, this is the
Yeah.
type of airflow you're looking for?
Yeah, and I can actually put that on the graphic for you. So thought that was on there. But yeah, there's see all these tabs up here?
Yeah.
This will tell you everything you need to know what's going on with that guy.
Okay.
Okay. The first one is the status. This one here, the space temperature BAS. So BAS means that it's being controlled by the BAS system. Okay. If it's local, that means it's being controlled by the thermostat. Right. So if I wanted to give this, suppose you got the office and you want to give them local control, I just click on it. I can put this out of service. Right. So now it's going to look at the thermostat.
Okay.
But when I go back, see how that little orange box popped up?
Yeah.
That means it's not being used. So anything with an orange box just means that point's not being used.
And does that, so that means that's just only being
It's looking
controlled
at
by
Yep, it's looking at the
Okay.
thermostat right now.
All right.
Anything with the blue arrows is something you can override,
Okay.
right? So these blue arrows just means I can override them. I can change them. Let me see. And this is where you would find the priority level that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So this is what's actually controlling the space temperature here. Kind of got it. We got everything going synchronized right now. Just to keep the system balanced right now. So at 71 degrees is what the set point's being set to it. I'll show you where it's getting that from. I know this is going to be a lot of information.
Yeah.
Coming here.
So basically what you're saying is setting on there is controlling it, not necessarily the thermostat.
Right now, the thermostat, I took that out of control.
Okay.
Okay. So now the thermostat is controlling it.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I put that out of service. I want the thermostat to look at it.
I'm just picturing when we have 100 school kids in here, them finding all the thumb wheels.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to, because they don't have covers on them too, to be able to just
Disable? Yeah.
disable the thermostat.
Yeah. I'll disable that one again. And then when you do click on the blue arrows, you'll see a pop up like this.
Okay.
Okay. See how it's like this change will expire in 2 hours. If you want it to be a permanent one you can always disable that.
Okay.
Okay. Otherwise, that override you put in is going to expire in 2 hours. Go back. Put this guy back in service. On my hotspot, so it's a little slow. So
So if you do disable it, it's just going to kick back to that 71 value.
yeah, the 71 value. Okay. And it'll tell you where it's coming from. Right. So it's got HVAC area, synchronized area set points. So basically I got one
So, yeah.
program sending that set point to all the devices in the building. Down here, see the facilities?
Yeah.
This is going to be the guts of everything. This is going to be where you get into change stuff and you can add stuff. Let me go to the area. So like this one here says HVAC area, applications. This is a lot of, this is the HVAC area. So it kind of tells you where that point's coming from. So the area just means that we're taking all these guys, all these VAV boxes, put them in like one central file, right? One area. So that you can control them all at the same time. If we would have had let's say if we had two air handlers, we would have separated the areas, air handler 1, air handler 2 area, right? Whatever boxes were associated with that air handler. Come on. So this is where it's getting at 71 degrees from, right here. Space temperature set point. You can always change that if you want. I don't know if you had any complaints for temperatures lately? Everything's been fine?
Yeah. Feels
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
And then on your spaces, you'll see this 1 degree offset. Okay, that's going to be 1 degree above and below your set points. Okay, so your active set points are going to change based on that offset.
So that's like the acceptable range.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it
70 to 72.
71 to 72 or 70 to 70 to 72. And you will be able to change those. Please just pick one. Right, so I did make them adjustable for you guys.
Okay.
I guess there's really no need to change that. You want it to be as accurate as.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep it. I wouldn't go anything less than one. I don't think it'll let you go anything less than one.
Yeah.
It'll throw out at some alarms for you.
Trying to be too precise with your
Yeah,
temperatures.
pretty much. And then also the alarms, they'll pop up right here. I'll show you those too. Questions on any set points? I mean, as far as the spaces go.
So like the applications where you would go to change set points.
There's a few.
For the larger, like for entire systems almost is
There-
kind of how it.
Yeah, so the applications, and maybe I can put that on. I'll see if I can put a block on here for the applications for you guys.
Okay.
And that way you can just navigate straight to that. Do you have a pen on you? I mean, do you want to write down here? Just to add applications to or add the area to the graphics. I'll get that done for you. Let's go back to there's a few places you can do it.
Yeah.
There's like you can go to the applications, you can go to the area, you can change it here. If you go to the spaces, this will tell you all. Yeah, it tells you all your space temperatures, your set points, your discharge air temperatures, your airflows, air valve positions, and what mode they're in. So most of them are in heat right now, except for one. Or I can select them all. Actions. I can override space temperature set points on all of them, all at once. So you can do it in the areas, or you can do it.
Just have everything.
Yep.
The same.
Yep. Or if you just want to do a select few, a couple offices, I don't know.
And if any of that stuff got to the point where it was, not functioning correctly, you would get an alarm, I guess.
Yes, you would get an alarm. So you would there's two types of alarms. There's like critical alarms, service needed, informational only. You'll probably see it like when you click on it.
Would it be like highlighted in that screen you were just on? Like if there's an alarm for an individualized space or whatever like that, would it be like flagged in that screen you were just at so you could see exactly which space the alarm is?
It wouldn't be on that one there.
It wouldn't be here.
This is just
it wouldn't be like a little red, arrow or something beside like a specific one or anything.
No, it would be you would just see the hot temperatures. I can look to see if I can do that though. I might.
I would just didn't know. I guess too the alarm would tell you like would it say like PFPV 1-04 or something maybe, and you could
you would see you would see it in there.
You could check and see.
Now you can set up like the alarms on these guys. I'll just click that one. I went to status and we'll say space temperature active. That's going to be what the space temperature is in that space. If I click on it, right, and go to configuration, I can configure an alarm for that. So if you do have a critical spot, and we'll say enabled high limit, 80 degrees or whatever you want to do, or let me go, just make it go on alarm, kind of show you what it does. Should generate me an alarm as long as we're lower or above 60. So see how this went into alarm, then all of a sudden this started
Yeah.
flashing. So you'll see your alarms up here. You can just click on it. It'll start dinging at you. I just got my volume turned down so it doesn't. And then critical alarm space temperature above set point. And if you just click on it, it'll take you straight to that device. But there will be any critical alarm will pop up there. You can click on it, it'll take you straight to that device. Disable that. And to acknowledge it, just click on the box, acknowledge.
And that'll still stay in there even after you acknowledge it, like in case anybody wants to see.
You can
to go back in there and be able to see like what occurred.
Yeah, you can actually make comments on it, I believe.
I remember you saying that, but it's got the date and the time and all that.
Yeah, so it's got the date and time. It tells you who acknowledged it. You can export it, or you can view or add a comment to it. Say, you know,
And will that, if you make a comment in there, that'll be visible to all administrators?
yep, that'd be
Okay.
visible to everybody. So if
Yeah.
you made it, this is the third time
Yeah. Be aware that this has been.
be aware this has been happening, every so often. We need to check it out. So you can let other people know. Or you put comments in it so whoever comes out here can get into it. All right, check this. Right. Let me know if I'm jumping around too much for you guys. I know this is new. The main menu. So you got the air handler, you got the chiller. So it does have an alarm present on it. Now I don't know. Now Ron said that they fixed the modules on this. I'm gonna have to check on this. Because I tried to reset it and it didn't reset. Okay. In this issue, suppose you get like a power spike or something like that causes the chiller to drop offline, and you'll start getting alarms like this. You can try to reset it remotely to see if it kicks back on. If it doesn't, then somebody's gonna have to obviously go out there physically check it. There is a control panel out there. You can open it up and it'll tell you exactly what the alarm is. That thing has 300 alarms for me. I wouldn't be able to put them all on the graphic for you. So I just kind of picked the general alarm for it.
So like even at this point where it just says alarm present, you don't know what that's for unless you physically go out there and look at what it says.
What it actually is.
On the panel.
Yeah. Well, it said, so if I go back to it, let me go back to the chiller. I'm thinking it has something to do with the compressors because compressor one, there's 3 modules on that chiller out there. Each module has 2 compressors. So if you kind of look at it, you can kind of see the modules. So yeah, compressor 1 on module 3 and compressor 1 on module 1 has an alarm. Those are, I'm not sure. I probably have to have one of our techs come out and look at it. Now, I know they did have an issue.
Yeah.
4 months ago, was it?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And then if you want to change your set point again, right there, show water set point, set at 44, adjustable. So if the summer, if or the winter, you want to raise it. I'm not sure how the building's going to act. um,
Like you said, if you just if you're resetting that and it doesn't reset, then at that point, you're pretty much going to have a tech come look at it.
Correct.
If it will not reset on its own.
yes. Any questions on that? There's also a chilled water, kind of put a chilled water graphic on here for you, so you can see what pump is running. Now I'll show you what controllers are controlling what pumps when we go out there.
Okay.
I know we did go out there, but we kind of just skimmed across things. I labeled a few things out there now, so your interlocks, control panels, what control panel to look at. You do need to stop it. There is an emergency stop here. So if I click on that, it's going to shut the air handler down, chiller down. So if you know there's going to be a hurricane or something like that, you need to shut the system down, you can just stop it.
Okay. That would be the same as if we're just like changing out all the filters in the air handler. I would assume there'd be an easier way to, or could you do it with that, or would you not want to use the emergency stop? Like if we're, change, because that thing has like 24 filters in it.
Yeah.
And we want to go change those out. What would be the best process? I mean, obviously, I guess that would work, but because it would only be temporarily, or is it fine to just use that emergency stop and just to take the 5 minutes it would be to change out all the filters?
I mean, you could do that if you want. It's going to send you an alarm. You could shut the air handler, just shut power down to the air handler. So it doesn't really matter which way you do it. I mean, if you want to keep the loop cold and not let it warm up while you're changing the filters, I'd probably just shut the air handler down.
Okay.
Especially during the summer. Just let the pumps keep running. I think, you know what? I think if you shut the air handler down, I think it kills the chiller anyway. So either doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So you can do either one or the other, it doesn't really matter. So anything, and you need to look at the DP on that because it's reading negative. Let's see. Any questions on the chiller itself? Like I said, those are new chillers to us, so
Yeah.
we're kind of.
I think too, like you said, if there's an alarm and we can't fix it with resetting, then it's calling one of
Yeah.
our HVAC guys or
Calling one.
train.
Yeah, calling one of the HVAC guys out and everything. So, their status. And right here, it tells you if it's an alarm. Chiller diagnostic on the main menu. Put the stop on the main menu for you also. Second floor. Oh, there's the restroom exhaust fan. Just for the restrooms, I guess it's all it serves. Let's see. Any questions about the set points or anything?
I don't think. And like you said, just anything that has, like you said, the blue arrow, we can change. And if it has that orange box, and that just means it's being run only by the actual thermostat itself.
Correct. Let me see what else is on there. Can you add airflow set point to the graphics? And I'll get that done too. That way you guys know what it's acting for. There's the applications tab right here. This first box air valve right here is to tell you what it's looking for.
Okay.
Right. So right now it's looking for 200 CFM. Putting out 205. You'll see that fluctuate a little bit. It tells you where it's coming from.
And I guess if it got to a point where it was like too high or low, that would trip an alarm.
Yeah.
It would show,
Yeah, either high airflow, low airflow.
like what you were saying with like, you know, the not knowing how the building will kind of react in the winter months and stuff, will we need to go in and change those set points throughout the year depending on, you know, the outdoor conditions or?
You shouldn't have to.
Okay.
The preheats should take over. There's a preheat in the air handler right before the chill water valve. So once the dew point and the temperature starts getting really low, the preheat's going to kick on to maintain the discharge air set point
Okay.
of it. I just don't know if there's going to be any type of adjustment needed for it. If you need to raise the set point on the air handler, you can. Spaces start getting really cold because these are electric heats, and sometimes they don't keep up.
Right.
If the space gets really cold. I mean, if we start getting into the 40s and 30s at night, we don't know what's. You may have to, and I think I did. Let's see. Let me check this real quick. I didn't do it. I thought I did. Maybe not. Come on. I went too fast. There we go. Put a discharge air temperature reset in there, just in case. The sequence didn't call for it, but I put one in there just in case you guys need to enable it. And what that does is what this does is it looks at all your space temperatures, and it will start resetting the discharge air temperature on the air handler based on the building temps. It is disabled right now, so I didn't know if the winter months hit and we need to do that, let us know. And I'll show you where to do that. Like I said, it's going to start getting colder out. Don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. So that's the area. I mean, you find on the areas, kind of the area is usually used for scheduling. So we take all those VAVs, all these boxes, put them into a schedule. But you guys are running 24/7, so we're not going to, I guess, worry about a schedule. And then there's what we call a variable air systems. This is what controls your duct static on the air handler. So the VAS is looking at all your VAV boxes. It's looking at your valve positions and your airflow. So basically, if we got a box that's not maintaining, it's going to start speeding the fan up. It wants to get that box maintained. If everything's in heat mode, minimum speed, it's going to start slowing the fan down. Don't need to run 100% if everything's at minimum, right?
Those all have separate filters too, correct? But
Yes. The boxes themselves have separate. I think the high I got set up at. See what the alarm is. Right, just something in service it's not supposed to be. So 2 inches is the high. 0.75 inches for the duct static is the low. That's basically just a pressure in your duct, is what that is. So it's just trying to maintain a certain pressure for your VAVs to operate normally. So if we got one box, we'll say it's getting up 95, above 95%, it's going to start speeding the fan up. What it's going to do. So right now, and it's telling us which box is at 90%. So it won't start speeding the fan up unless that box starts getting above.
And that's just like normal operation. That's not going to trigger an alarm or anything as long as it can still maintain.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So if it starts getting above 95%, it's going to start speeding that fan up. And I think the fan's running pretty low right now. Let's see what that's. Yeah, quit going so fast because it's. Yeah, so it's stuck static pressure. So it's going to try to maintain about 1.5. Then you can pretty much get it through any device, just navigating through it. So right now the fan's only running 60% to maintain airflow to your guys's. So if that box gets above 95%, starts opening up every 15 minutes, it's going to look at it and it's going to start creeping that fan speed up. On the, I confused you yet?
I mean, that part makes sense.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Anything on set points again? I mean, this is just discharge air set points. Let me go release that. Was it? Should put a release on there too. I want to put a release on there for them. Sometimes I don't. So I start playing around with it. So see anything with that green box right there means it's overridden.
Okay.
All right. So anytime you see
So
a
if it
green,
has the blue arrow with the green box, that means it's been overridden.
that means it's been overridden. Now, if I time it, you'll see a little clock in that green box. It means it's a timed
Yeah, like
override.
if you set it for like 2 hours, like
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but since there's no time clock on it, it's the permanent override. So whenever you do it from the spaces like that, it's going to give you a permanent override.
Did I see this was random, but on that page you were on before then, there's a dirty filter alarm.
Might have been. Let me see.
Make sure that's on.
Wait, I'm just gonna. Then you can just release all manual overrides right here. Just click on that, hit save, and that'll release
And
your
that'll just reset it to what it originally was.
default value.
Okay.
Yeah. And all that, I'll show you where all that's found. See if this goes. So all the settings in that controller, configuration here, is where you can set your alarms. And they tell you what, like if you do override it, it'll tell you what the default value it's going to default back to is. So as it updates. So this default value right here is what it's going to default. Now that's changeable. You guys, and this is if you do want to make a permanent change, this is where you want to change it. Is your default value. Okay. If you override it, if you're continuing overriding points, what can happen is if something happens, again, we get power failure, those overrides can be released. So as soon as it powers back up, the system's going to automatically power back up by itself.
And go back and immediately go back.
It could go back to default. If you change it, I think it's within 2 hours after. If something happened within the 2 hours, you change the set point and the system fails from power failure or something like that, and it reboots, it's going to go back to its default value. Generally, anything after 2 hours, it's going to maintain your override. But anything's possible. It can always, like I said, the power surge can always scramble it. And well, I'm going to go back to default value on everything. Question?
So you saying, so if we lose power, we could go in here and we could still access all this. If Well, I guess if we completely lost power, we wouldn't be able to access any of this.
Yeah, not unless it's on UPS. I'm not sure if it's on.
Yeah, I didn't know if you could like remotely go ahead and set it to default, if that would be helpful to have it kick back to that instead of like you were saying, like you said, if it's more than 2 hours, it automatically goes back to default anyway when it kicks back on.
So let's say you overrid this to 55. Okay. Then an hour later, I don't know, a storm hit or something and it kills power. That 55-degree override is going to be released.
Okay.
Okay. So if you overrid it and we'll say 4 hours later, power fails, that 55-degree set point that you put in there should still
Like stand.
stand.
Yeah. Okay.
But anything can happen. I mean, it can release it. So let's just keep in mind that, okay, we had power failure. I'm gonna have to go in there and reset it. Any questions on that?
I guess would it be a good idea too, if you had like a major power failure like we had, like to just automatically, once power is restored, go in and look at this stuff anyways, just to kind of,
I would.
yeah,
You got some real sensitive, even though the chiller's out there, it's real sensitive. It gets a lightning strike. You know, when Duke did their thing, I got out there, opened up the panel. Oh, I smell electrical.
yeah.
You know, and the controllers were fried. So it's a good idea just to log into it and see, if you got a hurricane or something like that going.
I guess, and in that scenario, I would assume that was throwing out all kinds of alarms, like you would know without even having to go in there and obviously see or smell that it was. I would assume it would have alarms that said, "Hey, this particular area or part of whatever area was
Yes.
damaged."
Yeah, you'll get that alarm on
Okay.
there. Especially, I mean, probably the two main when you log into it, the two main things you're gonna want to check is your air handler and your chiller, right?
Yeah.
Especially the chiller. I mean, the chiller is probably the heartbeat of the building. So if that fails, you're kind of at a standstill.
Yeah.
The air handler can only do so much.
Yeah.
Those would. But yeah, I do need to find out what the status on the chiller is to find out.
And you said again for that, you're gonna get you would get an alarm, but you have to go out there to the panel to see specifically what it's,
Yeah, so if it's not a compressor alarm, so like compressor 1 status, module 1 and compressor 2 status says off by alarm. Unless it's a compressor. If it's something else, you probably have to go out and look at the panel. Houses are all off by alarm. So there's definitely something going on with that chiller. So I need to figure out. I'll call our technician after this and find out what's going on. I can try to. It was running perfect, and then Duke did their thing, and what that does. Release it. It will release its override eventually. Usually you can turn it on and it should switch back to off. But yeah, I saw the chill water climbed up. So we'll have to figure out I'll talk to the technician about that.
Are those what levels should those normally be at? Like, so that one's saying 58.2, the other one's saying 50.6. Are those also supposed to be at specific levels, I would assume?
Depending on the load of the building, this one here is this is the return going into the chiller. So this is gonna be higher.
Yeah.
Depending on what the load in the building is. And this one should be closer to set point.
Okay.
Okay. Looks like it's not resetting, so I'll call Jeremy and find out what the status is on it. I think what else. Any questions about adding users? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just click on it, users.
And you said it can be, we can add as many.
You can add as many as you want.
Where did you say, where do you go to set the, what was it, like the one through, what was it, like
The
16?
priorities.
The priorities. So when you create a user, yeah. So you can see it. Let me see. I just lost. Now let me do it. No, I'd have to recreate it.
So it just asks you that when you create the user.
Yeah, it asks you that when you create the user. If I went into preferences. Oops, I didn't want to log out.
If we're setting up, new users, would we set them all up as like an 8, like you did us, or would you want them to be not necessarily have the same
That-
access?
That
Or is
would
just up to us.
that's up to you and your confidence level with the technician, right? So if you only want him to, then I'll show you. There's actual roles that you can set up for people just to view, or just do set point use control. Um, Actions. We'll say I can change the role. Okay, so there's a few roles that you can do. Installer programmer is full access. You can just do a basic building operator where they can go in and change set points. You can do advanced building operator where they can do set points, alarms, set up alarms, change schedules, stuff like that.
Okay.
These you don't have a display on there. You got viewer where they can just go in and view only. More if it's a tenant, they can go in and you can actually assign them their office, their own specific set point they want. But all the information, let me see, roles. This tells you what the roles are. You can even create your own role if you want for a certain person.
Yeah.
Customize it. Yep. But I mean, there's in this help file right here. If you need to get into it, you can. On the page you're on, it'll pull up exactly what what it does and how you can set it up.
I assume this is probably kind of a dumb question, but I'd assume you can, if you're a lower role, you can't make changes to,
Correct.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you have to be an admin. So when you do create it, you'll see the admin, is this user an admin? That has to be checked in order for that user to get in and change anything.
And like if I'm being dumb, he can go in there and if he's an admin, he can be like, you've lost your privileges. You
Yep.
get bumped down to like a 7.
Yep.
Or,
Yeah.
Yeah, you
well,
get
like the other way at 10.
yeah, you get bumped down to a 16.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. Down here at the alarm configuration, we can route. This is where you set up your routing for your alarm emails. I can create, add routing rules. Come on. I don't know if there's an on-site Wi-Fi I can get connected to.
Probably not any better than.
Not much better than this. Check. There we go. Let's try that again. Add routing rules. So now we can add, like if we want to set up some critical alarms for you, just add David. He's gonna get the critical alarms through your email. And then you can actually set up times for you.
I guess that would be good too for like.
Working hours.
Yeah, or and like your phone too. I saw you can have that. Like,
You can set up.
you know.
Yes, so you can actually add your phone number, so it'll actually text you too.
Yeah.
We need to find out from your IT guy, what they call the SMTP settings for your email, so that it can actually email you and text you.
Yeah, that would definitely be nice to have, especially if we could, create accounts for like our crafts.
Yeah.
craft service team, and they would, be getting, like critical alarm, alerts to like their cell phone or email or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Especially since you guys got a lot of antiques up here that have to be maintained, right? Any questions on this? I mean, as far as routing,
Pretty straightforward.
um, like I said, I recommend getting in here and just navigating around and getting used to it. Because you can actually add, I think you can, let me go users. Click on David. Oh, so yeah, cell number, and then just who you're with,
Yeah.
right? And then when you do your alarm configurations, you can do both, either just email or email and text. Let me see. I don't think we set up your tools, and this is where we would. I'm sorry, installation. Come on. Internet is not being my friend this morning. There we go. I don't think I said so. There's under installations, your SMTP settings. This is where you set up for your email that we need either from your IT people or to tell us what your host is and port they want to use. And then what we can do is we can set it up so that, what's this building called? Is this just a museum?
Yeah, visitor center.
Visitor center. So we could set it up, visitor center at train.com. So that way, it. And then with that one there, we can set up as underwater archaeology at train.com to send you an email or text. But I think we could, if we can get your IT involved sometime, just let me know.
And obviously, go through there. You could have 4 or 5 different people that are all getting texted when there's critical alarm.
Oh, absolutely.
Not just
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you can have 200 people on this, and
Right.
that many hands in the cookie jar kind of creates problems.
Yeah. That all operates regardless of like their what is the level called? Like they could be like a 16, and if you list them, they can still get, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
they can still get
it doesn't matter if they're a 16, they can still
get
have them
emails.
listed as a critical
yes, yeah,
recipient
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. Their priority level doesn't really
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
It's just the alarms, it's whoever you send it to. Um, and we got data logs, so the system does log almost every point in the system. You can create data logs if you don't see it, obviously. So like air handler one, discharge air, temperature. If you want to find out, we'll just say you want to find out when all of a sudden well, that's airflow. If you want to find out when it died, on what specific date, what happened that date, uh, you can nail it down to a specific time. And sometimes you can call Duke and say, hey, what happened at this time? Did you have a power issue? Yes, we did. That way you can find out if it was a Duke issue or something else is going on with the site. So you can actually, I use this a lot for troubleshooting, find out space temperatures. Let's pick one, space temperature active. A lot of data on here, so you can actually trend it. So if somebody says it's getting hot at 3 o'clock in the afternoon at a certain time, you can pull multiple units up. Say, okay, at 3 o'clock, everything's getting hot. Why? What's going on with the chiller or what's going on with the air handler? Then you can export it. I mean, if somebody needs to see it, you can always pull it as a PDF, and it'll show you the whole trend. Yeah. Questions on that?
Yeah, I guess if you're like, as an example, like looking at the data and you can see like we lost that huge power, when we had that, and you could see that spike. And if you called Duke and they're like, we didn't have a power outage, I would assume then that would be a major issue with the unit itself.
Yeah, exactly. And these, like this one here, is only set up for this is a week's worth of data. If you need longer, you just click on it, the little box there. View. Let me see. Is it view? Data log definite. And like I said, you can play with this. Edit. I can do up to 3 years, I think. It's 200 and some thousand data logs is the limit. So it'll do a year's worth of data logs it's gonna look at it every 15 minutes, or I can change that to 5 minutes or 1 minute. And maybe go months, 6 months. Oh, too big. 125,000 samples. So I could probably go 3 months. Oh, two. I know one. Yeah. Especially if you got an area, you can create multiple data logs for the same point. So if you want one for every minute, suppose you got something that's happening and you need to catch it really fast, you can set up the data log for a minute and capture it. Got a lot of memory. The system does have a lot of memory. You can filter it. I hit a filter. Just say chiller. It'll just pull up your chiller.
Where you just click the little 3 lines right there.
Yeah, that right there. Yeah, just click that. Or you can just clear it and it'll pull everything back up. Schedules. You guys aren't using any schedules. Well, there's one in there. but it's occupied. Did put a schedule in there. This one needs adjusted. Guy here. That's not 15. That should be. Come on. $105. What this does, I'll go over this here. Here we go. So every Monday, because after a while, the VAVs, the air dampers, they tend to lose track of the airflow. So what I do is every Monday at like 1 a.m., I have it going through and recalibrating them. But it's only going to do maybe like 6 at a time, what it does. And it just closes them so they know where 0 is, and then they reopen up. So it only takes like 5 minutes for the signal to go to do it. And what it does, it sends a signal to that VAS that we talked about earlier for your duct static. And it does like 5 or 6 at a time, just calibrates them so the unit doesn't trip off. And then that way everything is recalibrated every week.
So like what you just did, do we need to go in there and mess with that?
No, you shouldn't have to mess with it. I just saw that it was like 1 o'clock a.m. to 1:05 p.m. I just need something, just to trigger the auto cal. So once that triggers, what it does is it goes into this guy. And basically just tells it, hey, go out, that VAS tells, go grab me 5 or 6 boxes at a time, recalibrate them. It's just after time they start losing calibration. Whatever updates.
Like you said, those are for all those boxes.
And
that
you see,
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if the underwater over there, do they need to have a schedule? The 24/7? I mean, I guess they got artifacts in there too, right?
Yeah, I think they would probably be like,
Okay.
yeah.
What's this one here? This guy.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think we would need.
Okay. Did is the underwater at? There it is. Just trying to show you where it goes, but I'm having there we go. Come on. Trying to do too much at the same. There we go. Let me find out what that is. I'll see what that one is. So this is where that schedule I was just talking about. This is where it triggers the calibration schedule. So I just got it assigned to the schedule to look at your schedule, and it automatically calibrates all the VABs.
Like you said, that's not something that we should really have to go in and mess with again.
Nah, you just have to mess with it. So, not at all.
That's good to know, but yeah.
It's just,
It
it's
will
just,
just do that every, like you said,
Yeah.
at that specific time.
yeah, that's just how the system is kind of keeping things calibrated. So you don't have to go in there and physically do it.
I guess if it found something that was not calibrated, normally it would send out an alarm.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you, like I said, if one of the boxes, the airflow is not reading, you'll get an alarm.
Would that be the first thing to try to correct it? I guess there's not like a,
There is something you can do. I mean,
or
it's,
just change the time or something. Would that get it to try and recalibrate? Like,
you could override it to 0 just so that it knows where 0 is and release it and see if that works. Sometimes that works. If you do have something that,
is there like a reset for those?
Yes.
Without changing the time to get it to.
yes. So, I do this. Let me click on one.
I guess, like you said, chances are you won't have to mess with it.
Yeah. Well, this is just being,
I'll stop asking questions.
and the more you ask, the better. I mean, if you haven't dealt with something like this, it can be a little overwhelming. I'll just click on one right here.
Like you said too, we'll just have to spend some time navigating around and
Right? Yeah. Once you navigate around it. So this application right here is where you're gonna find all the points. Or your details is also everything, all the points listed alphabetically. So I can go in here and find whatever I need alphabetically. So there's a auto commissioning. Where's it at? Right here. There's auto commissioning command. That'll recalibrate it. I don't like to put that on the graphic because sometimes people just go in there and they keep clicking on it, and well, it's not working. Right? If it doesn't work after the first time, that's not going to work. Or you can hit applications and this little gear right here. You click on it. It doesn't seem like it does anything, but once you click on it, it's going to throw the box into a calibration mode, and it's going to go through and auto commission it.
and that's just for that one individual.
That's just for that one individual box. Okay, so it's gonna tell me once you do it, then it'll tell me what my valve is for my max set point. So at 71%, it met its max set point. At 45%, it met its 40% set point. Okay, so it tells you that the box is calibrated. And just tells you what the reheat is when it'll test the fan and everything like that. Tells you what the reheat stage 1 is. These have what they call I think SCR. These got SCRs on them, don't they? The heaters. I think they got SCRs on them, and basically they just kind of modulate. It's not like a 1-stage, 2-stage thing. They modulate to maintain base temp.
What would it be like? So if you went in here and you recalibrated it and it came back and there was an issue, what would that look like? Or would it just tell you an alarm?
It would tell you an alarm, but these would be 0.
Okay.
So
It
0,
wouldn't just be under the 40, it would be a 0.
it'd be a 0. Yeah. So if it didn't make airflow at 40% that it was looking for, or it didn't make its airflow at 100% set point, then it would just read 0.
Okay.
Then you would know there's an issue. And also there's this here pressure independent control right here means that it's looking at airflow. It sees its airflow, everything's happy. Okay. If it let's see, what's it do? What's it say when it's not happy? I gotta override it. Let me see. It'll just say position control pressure dependent. So that means I'm not reading airflow, but I'm going to maintain a 40% valve. And you'll see it'll say 0 airflow. And this will send an alarm. If it goes to pressure control, it'll send you a notice. Hey, service required. How we doing so far? Am I bored you yet?
Just a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff. It really is.
Yeah, yeah.
There is a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'll check for classes because sometimes they do have classes for our vendors, for our customers. Just a basic class on systems, these applications. They used to call them systems, but now they're applications. So they can go over the areas, the variable air systems, discharge air resets, and it's got a lot of stuff that it can do. Alarms, tools. Just kind of show you the programming and the controls. Let me see. I don't think I have any programming, so let's see. So that. There is. Click on this guy. So you can see the programs. I mean, you can't change them or anything. You can see what they're doing real time. If something happens, it will say the chiller control chiller's not kicking on. If it pulls it up, I might have just made it mad. Let's see what this one does. That just make it mad. There we go. This is just to give you an idea of the programming that's in there. So it's just a block type code programming. If my outdoor air temperature status, outdoor air temperature is greater than, we'll say my outdoor air lockout, which is 45 degrees. It's going to turn off my chiller. So there is an outdoor air lockout on this chiller. Anything below 45 degrees is going to shut the chiller down. Air handler's still going to run. It's going to say, hey, I'm too cold to be running a chiller. I don't need it. I should be using outside air. And if everything's good, dew point's good, outside air temperature is good, it'll shut your chiller down for you. That you can tell. You can go in here and say, okay, this is looking for all these variables right here. So if something was false, it would shut your chiller down. So you can kind of get in the program and do a little bit of troubleshooting if you want. Then all I have to do is look and see what was false on this guy. My outside air temperature failed. That goes true. That's going to turn false. It's going to shut your chiller down. That's probably not a good idea. But that's just kind of
Might be another handy thing for our
just something to look at. Yeah. Exhaust fan control. Occupancy's all good. Exhaust fan dampers false. I gotta look at that. You want to put on 204 exhaust fan damper status? Take a look at that.
This is another good thing to just use as like a troubleshooting method.
Yeah, just
You were saying
troubleshooting
with
tool.
The data logs too. Using
Yeah.
it as
The data logs, the troubleshooting. Yeah. Like I said, if you reset it and it doesn't kick back on, but yeah, kind of needs to send somebody out to look at it. I'll call our technician to find out what the status is on that because I know They replaced a lot of the modules on that chiller. Anything? As far as the unitary controls go, I mean,
So to, be good practice to just get in and like look at this stuff.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, my whole thing was like, because it's obviously never had to deal with anything like worried about messing something up, like going in navigating stuff. But
Yeah.
it seems like it's pretty fairly user friendly.
yeah, it's pretty. I mean, like I said,
It looks overwhelming, but
it does.
I mean,
And-
especially if we're not going in there changing like set points.
Yeah.
Like that, it seems like you're not.
I guess you can go in and mess with it and not even actually do it just to get a feel for it. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think it gives you the like you are gonna change stuff, but then just click cancel or whatever, like watching you do.
yeah,
certain
cancel.
things.
I mean, you're not gonna, like I said, worst thing you can gotta make some. These are like the boathouse over there. These are all just offices right here. Worst thing you'll do is you'll probably make somebody warm. Oops. I'll try to make the graphics all the same for you guys, so that way it's not.
Yeah.
Same thing. This is the boathouse over there. Same thing as the set points, airflows. The boathouse itself, I mean, it's just a air handler with a condenser is all it is, right? Same thing. Only difference over there, that's DX. This is chill water. I think there's really nothing special about the boathouse. Dehumidification set point. That one does have dehum mode in it, so it will dehumidify for you. There's an alarm. Let's see what that alarm is. Like we had some resets, power issues. So this means that the FC reset. That means that either lost power or somebody turned it off. Thinking that was a power bump. Multiple of them, all in.
That was when that was a big storm that hit here.
Oh, the 16th was.
Yeah.
Uh,
That was that Monday, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So I told you that the condenser tripped. Duct static pressure. Yeah. So you can either just click on them. Knowledge. I didn't even think about the storm that was here.
Yeah.
Everything is underwater, wasn't it?
Yes.
Boathouse duct static. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Let's go back to the phone there. This is for the actual the lodge. So there are 3 exhaust fans and 3 dampers. So once the exhaust fans kick on, there should be dampers on like this side of the building that open up just to draw some air in there. Space set point set for 85. You guys need to kick it on. I don't think I have an override on there. Let's see. You just put a exhaust fan override button on this one, boathouse for me, and I'll get that installed. That way you guys can kick the exhaust fans on if you want. I don't know if they start their boats up in that garage or not.
Yeah, we try not to. We always try to pull them out when we
Okay.
run and flushing the engine.
Okay. I was thinking carbon monoxide stuff like that. Going, well, maybe we should start those up if they need. The SE is located. The main, like this one here, is over there by the air handler. I guess this is just a smaller version of what's here. Yeah, of what you have. Any questions on like those things or?
Set up Will to enter our boathouse system, or
Let me see.
Does- are the two systems connected or what?
They're well, they're on the same network. So would that be William right there?
Yes.
Okay, so William is in there. Do we want to add you to this one?
Yeah, I guess I could be. It wouldn't hurt.
Okay. Oh, I'm already on. What am I doing? Create user. Be the man. Everybody's calling. What was it again?
David dot Schaefer, SHEAFFER
EA.
Yeah.
At
at DNCR
DNCR.
dot NC dot gov.
Something happens. I can always get in there and reset your password if you need to.
Okay.
So again, down here is the user as admin. We'll make you the main guy there. Building summary, homepage. Just make it the floor plan. So this here display, this just means when you click on a device, it's going to pull the graphic up right before you. Enable filtering. That's like the data logs that we did. I showed you.
Yeah.
So you can filter it. Default to temporary overrides. That just means that when you do it, it's just kind of default to a temporary override. See, that's new. Choose between some. Oh, okay. I can make you advanced. Well, doesn't really matter. We're gonna make you an 8. We'll just make you an 8. Pounds. No display. Then just give you all access to the graphics. That look okay? Finish. There you go. That way you're set up. Yeah, this is the boathouse fans. If you need to turn them on, you can override them. You'll be able to, anyways. Yeah. You can change your set point there.
So that's
Just like
when they'll cut on. Like they'll only cut on when it reaches the
85 degrees.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, you can turn it up, turn it down. The WF, this is what they named them in the system. So yeah, this is the fan. So if you turn that on, it's gonna kick on the exhaust fan.
Okay. Is that the only way you can do it is through the system to turn those on, or is there? I'm assuming. I guess if they were over there, there's probably ways to.
I can is there a manual way of doing that? There's a HOA switch on those or not?
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
That would be more of a them thing anyway.
Yeah.
But
I'll put an override on here so you can turn them on. Just in case.
yeah.
If you need it.
You'd be able to set a time and stuff like that too.
Yeah, you'll be able to.
Time that you would want.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can actually do that too if you want. You could set a schedule up for that if you wanted.
Yeah.
Same thing, just. Any question? I mean, yes, I might need to get you guys set up on Train Connect.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that this is the site that we would have, that we use to access all this?
Yes. See if they gave me that. If not, I will have to. Uh, I may have to have Jordan set you up on that one. What I would need is your guys' email. Yes. Configuration. I would need I have Jordan set you guys up. So whoever's gonna have access to this, give me your names and emails.
Okay.
And what you'll end up doing is you'll get a invite from it'll be a train technology site and just follow the prompts on it.
And then we'll recreate users, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, it'll give you guys users access to this. But you'll get access to the Fort Fisher sites, right?
Yeah.
The school that was on there or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll have Jordan set you guys up there so you guys can get access to it. Yeah, you need to be able to get into it remotely.
So will this be for like everyone who wants to access it remotely will have to use the address that he's putting down on here?
So-
Or will you'll send these all to the listed?
Each individual person listed.
So usually the way it works, they'll assign an admin. So like they'll give you the permission to set up users in Train Connect
Okay.
for
And then send an invite. He can send an invite.
and then you can set the invite. Yeah. So usually there's like one admin and then he can set people up in Train Connect as he wants.
Okay.
All right.
So really, you just need.
So
my
you just
email,
know that
really.
Your email, yeah. I mean, if you want a secondary guy to be just in case.
I'm going down too.
Okay.
Or I guess, yeah, you could get somebody from the art club, I guess. as
Yeah.
well.
Well, they'll give you access to both. So
Okay.
if you find out over there if you want Will to be on it, then you can give him access to.
I know, when you were here last, I believe that I was signed up for it all, but I just tried to get into Train Connect and it wouldn't let me, but I've put my name and email address in the chat.
Okay. So we can set you up on that one too.
Yes, please, for all of UAB. That'd be great.
Okay. Which one was his? Will. Oh, okay. Let me take a picture of that one. Right there. Any questions? Like I said, I know it's a lot of information. If you can get in and navigate, just once we get you set up.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if this is on. They also have a phone app. So if you are on site, you're on their network here.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know if they made it available on. Do you know if they made it available to their network here?
I
Don't know.
have no idea, but that wouldn't be bad to have that too.
Let me look at it real quick. I'd have to be on the network. Are you on their network here by any chance?
Yes.
Go ahead and download, go to your app store. Which is bad signals out here, isn't it? There's a Train BAS suite.
Train BAS operator.
That's the one. You want to download the Train BAS operator on your phone? Let's see. I don't know. We'll try and see what happens. Did you get it?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Got it?
Yeah.
So add the button there. Yep. And then what's the top one say?
Network connection, use train connect remote
Try-
access.
Try use network act connection.
Okay.
You can give it a name like I don't know, visitor center. Under IP address, put 10.29.185.176. Then username, your name. Nope, just username that what you use to log in. So
Okay.
it'd just be the David. And then password is going to be the welcome one exclamation. See if it connects. Save. Click on it.
Unable to make a connection.
Okay. So they didn't make it. They didn't make it visible,
Okay.
which is fine. But once you get connected on Train Connect, then you would just connect via Train Connect.
Okay.
And then it would just ask for your credentials, and you should be
Yeah,
able to
just use it. Yeah, I'll just click on use train access.
Yep. that would get you in. So I will send an email off to Jordan and get you set up on that. Let's see which one we're in. We're in the visitor center. Okay. Any other questions?
We're gonna look at. I guess we're gonna go look at.
We
one
can,
of the stuff.
yeah, we can. I can walk you through, show you the safeties, show you the interlocks, safety interlocks. I guess we can go out to the children.
Yep.
Look at the panel on that. We can
Sounds
we can actually see what's an alarm on that one. Any other questions, anybody? I know this is a lot. This is just a touch of
Yeah.
what the system can do, and I'll talk to. Usually, once in a while, our office provides customer training on the SC. I can see if when the next class is coming up, and maybe have you guys sent to that, because there's just more of these coming out. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
if it's not us, it's gonna be somebody else, and it'll probably help you on other control systems also. Have to
Yeah, I
navigate
think
through.
that would probably be a good idea. If
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
us, then definitely
Yeah.
our
Like service
HVAC.
people.
yeah, absolutely. Usually the alarms, especially on the newer equipment, I mean, the alarms pretty much tell you exactly what's going on with the equipment. Low pressure, high pressure, you know, condenser fan failure, especially in the train equipment. I mean, it's really good at telling you exactly what's going on with it, and you can get that alarm pulled in. Takes the guessing right out of it.
All right. I appreciate it, guys.